Welcome back to what I think will be quite interesting video. Now these are one of my favorite things to turn. These are fruit-like salt or pepper shakers, and I made quite a bit of these for my clients that ordered set of plates or bowls, let's say, and they don't do anything or dispose the salt or pepper. If you're just handling these regularly, you have to use up and down motion to get the salt out or pepper. Now this is not my idea. I don't take credit for this. I maybe take a credit to make it in a fruit-like shape, salt shakers like these, but I did not think of this idea. First I saw it from one of the oldest videos from Kirk the Here, and just the other day I found out that Keith Gottschall, I hope I pronounced last name correctly, sorry about that. I found out that he probably was one of the first that was doing this kind of a funnel shape on the inside, and works really simple and beautifully. Now, since I waited this plexi to dry on this half of the apple shaker, I've turned this pear one from this lovely piece of walnut. You're going to see that towards the end of the video, a little bit more speed up version. But from this piece of lovely ash, I want to turn the apple. And you can see here, I've cut away half of it. I've made this area here a little bit too thin. That's why I ditched this and make a new one for the client. So you can see, and don't mind the glue here and so on, but you can see the outline of the shape on the inside. This is the insert piece with a hole through it, like so, and the salt of course goes, you can see it a little bit here, and I'll show you how to fill this up. But the longer you make this, the more salt you can put in. Now you don't have to, you can make this a little bit shorter here, but just remember, if you go too low on the inside, the salt sometimes can miss, let's say. So it's better if you have it more towards the top like this. And a nice fluid shape here will also help direct it into the funnel and it goes out. Now to fill this up, now when it's an entire piece here, it's a little bit easier, of course. Now this is only half of it. Now there is another upgrade that you can probably do, and that is to thread this insert into this piece and maybe make a slot here, and then client with the coin could unscrew it and screw it back in to fill it up. I don't feel like in this particular case for these fruit shakers that's really necessary. Again, this does take a minute or two to fill it up. So you do like that, and then you just tap it, and you should be able to see how it falls inside. You can see how it collects here. Now I've put this piece in, like I said, this was too thin for the little branch thingy here. That's why I just plug this so it doesn't fall out, the salt. But you can see when I tap it, it goes in, and once I empty the top, like so, again, it does take a few minutes, but there we go. So you do that several times, and you will fill it up for decent amount of shakes, let's say, or servings. Again, if you feel that this is too much work or something like that, again, takes only a few minutes. And if in this day and age, if you don't have a couple of minutes to slow down in life, then something is not right. So now you see it fills up the tube, and that's okay. All you have to do is just shake it to the side, so it will fall again on the side. And you do that a few times, and I'll do that off the camera. There's a full hole in the center and not the half of it how it loads up much faster. You can see it already falls down, and just give it a little bit of shake, and down it went. Now the finish is still a bit tacky, so that's why the salt is sticking to the bottom. So just once it goes all the way down, I tilt it maybe 90 degrees and give it a few taps, that the salt goes around the funnel and now it doesn't come out. So just clean this up. A few minutes, you can see it's nicely filled up. And again, if you think about this, is the whole circle all the way around, and it's easier to fill it up or faster to fill it up once you have the full funnel here as well. So in this case I only have half of the hole, so everything is in half and takes a bit longer. Now don't mind my hands, whenever I'm turning something with tannins in it like walnut or oak, I get tannin hands, and if you get these as well, just know that just squeeze a lemon in your hand or dilute it in water and it goes right off. So you can see as we handle this, none of the salt will get, or pepper, none of it will get into the funnel here. But when we do up and down motion, you can see the salt is coming out really nicely. So do that again just to show you. So nothing comes out, and now it's coming out nicely. The first thing that I like to do is just chew it up and make a rough shape of the apple in this case. I'll use a skew to chew it up. And I like to use again bevel side. The rest is ever so slightly too high. Now I have a nice smooth area to rest the bevel. Nice and gentle to the center. For the rough shape, I like using spindle gouge. Now, the beauty of these fruit shakers is you cannot tell me that the apple is right shape or wrong shape, because there is no two same apples in the nature. So much like with our fingerprints, each is slightly different shape. I like making apples that are slightly offset, so the highest diameter will be towards the top and it slowly tapers down to narrower diameter, which in this case will be roughly around 30 mil on the bottom, maybe 35. So a half-inch diameter spindle gouge. Can switch to skew. A bit thinner towards the bottom. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll just round it over a little bit. Going to the bottom again. There is no in nature flat areas. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, just to get rid of the bulk of the timber inside, I'll use Forster bit. Bring the speed down a little bit. Doesn't have to be this fast. I can go again. I'll reverse curve the top towards in where the little twig will be, and I need to account for that so I don't go too deep. I'll go also 50 mil. Now I've done this with the pear shape as well. I've hollowed it out as much as I could, and you'll see again pear, how I turned that one in a few minutes. The reason for that is, first of all, you make the entire shaker much lighter, and you use as much of the space as well. Now this shape here has also functioned really nicely, because once you shake it, like I've shown you, the salt will bounce and easier to fall into the funnel here. Now the tool that I like to use for this undercutting is actually called undercutter, which is this tool here. So this is from Crown. I really like this scraper. I've modified it slightly so it has a bevel here as well, very shallow or steep bevel, so around maybe 20 degrees from 90. But this area here is nice and sharp and works really lovely. So I like to have the tool raised slightly further away, so I'm more resting on this area here rather than here. So that's a good position. And again, I want to hollow it out as best I can to the outside shape. That's why I rough turn the shape first. Speed is 1600 RPM. I'll try to hold the tool not in my conventional way. I would rather have the hand on top of the tool for more stability, but I want to show you as best I can the hollowing. So this goes quite fast. And you don't wear headphones when you do this kind of stuff. You want to hear the thickness. Again, I would hold the tool slightly different. I'm trying to get the best camera angle for you. And again, you move nice and fluid. Let's see where I am. Not too bad. Now, sometimes it's a bit easier if I grab French curve scraper for the top portion, just to get a better curve. Now there is again a lump in the very center. That's the lump, I can feel it, and I'm cutting it or scraping it away from the bottom. There we go. And now try to get nice fluid shape. That's almost perfect. Almost. There is a step or weird kind of a curve here. So a little bit of this now. Okay, once the inside is done, I don't sand the inside. Doesn't matter that it's slightly rougher. I like to clean up the opening, get it really nice and straight, or straight as I can. And I like to put a decent amount of chamfer on the bottom. So that's the done portion on the inside. What I can do is just double check if there is any surprise. A little bit more chamfer. There is a slight tear out here. What I can do now is sand the bottom portion of the apple, and then we're going to jam chuck this to finish the top. And now I can part it off. Like so. Now I'll use this area as a jam chuck. Let's see where this fits. Almost perfect. I like to bring the tailstock as well, just until I get a rough shape towards inside. 10mm spindle gouge. Now with a skew, I just want to get rid of this knob. Nice and gently, and continue on with the curve towards inside. Get in the comfortable position. I like to hold, just because I'm on a narrow jam chuck on the bottom, I like to place my thumb on the tool rest and the rest of the fingers wrap around the spindle. Nice and gently, let the tool do its thing. Okay, I'm happy with that. Also, while I'm here with the skew, I'm just going to poke. That's for later. Again, sanding. That's done. Really nice. So that's done portion. So we have the apple and the pear, and now what I need to do is cone for the inside. Now you saw most of the techniques and everything. This is just a little bit different shape, and I found this lovely piece of walnut. Look at the figure in this piece. So that will go in a chuck. Now next step is to get a rough shape of the pear. Not much timber will be removed in this area because I need stability for the hollowing. But around here should be the opening, give or take, and I can round this over. I'll use a spindle gouge. I'm listening to the thickness. As I'm doing this, that's pretty good. A bit more, and then just finessing the shape. I want to again leave the opening so I have somewhere to glue the cone. Get the opening nice and straight. And I'll do a small chamfer here, makes it look a bit neater. And now get the final shape done. And now just make the curve flow nicely to the top, and I need to decide where I'm going to make a reverse curve. Somewhere around here I think should be okay. Part it off. Okay, that should be okay. Smaller spindle gouge. And I want to make an inward profile. Nice and gently. And now just light cuts. Through the center. And the pear is done as well. Really lovely looking piece of timber. Cone is left to do, and a little branch thing here. So now I have here a piece of ash that will be for the funnel, and I need to measure the opening on the apple. So this area here, just measure that. And with the skew, and just before I continue on, I want to test the fit. So that's a little bit too tight. So it has to go quite easy on the, or inside the apple. A bit more. Not sure what I measured with the calipers. Okay, so that's just enough of the space for the glue, and that I can press it in easily without too much effort. Now the next thing is to, and the most difficult part maybe in all of this build, is to drill nice and straight with a thin bit. But first a 10mm spindle gouge, and I want to make a funnel on the inside. That's pretty good, and with the skew just poke the center. Now the best way I know to drill with the thin drill bit nice and straight, or as straight as possible, is to first bury the drill halfway down into the chuck, so there is little as possible wiggle room here or vibration at the very tip of the bit. And I drop down the speed, and I want to start slowly and go in maybe 5-6 mil, then take it out, clean the bit, and do it again. Nice and easy. Now pull the bit more out of the chuck and repeat the process. Now you can play around with a different type of hole, bigger one, smaller one. I found that 3mm, 3.2mm is quite good size. I can bring the bit slightly more out. Okay, that's it. Now I need to know the length of the funnel. So I go right into the center of the piece and I'll measure just beneath this chamfered edge. And in this case, that's 61 mil, and I'll subtract roughly, give or take 10 mil. So that should end up around here. I'll set that in with the parting tool. Not all the way, just a little bit. Skew. Just getting that waste off. Now 10 mil spindle gouge. I'm okay with that shape here. I forgot to put a little chamfer here, like so, and just continue on. And I can use a skew from this point. Now, before I part this off, I want to sand the end here. Later it's way more difficult to do. And just part it off. Let's see where the hole is. Just adjust the focus. So that's not too bad. It's a little bit off center, but that doesn't matter as long as the hole isn't all the way to one side or the other. So now all that it's left to do is glue these in, like so. And I like to use white glue and CA glue just to quickly cure or quickly hold while the white glue has its time to cure. So that's the next step, and we have to drill for the little twig here, and that's it. Finish and we're done. You can see the twig on the apple. Now you can trim this down if it's too tall or anything like that. I like to leave it for now at least a bit long, and then I'll decide later where to trim it. Now let's do the pear, and I have here nice dry piece of twig from cherry tree actually, but it's quite flexible, so it's not brittle. You don't want that. Let's see, I would like maybe this bend piece, so maybe around here I'll cut it. Let's see, something like this. And also what I like to do is just clip this end a little bit, clean it from the bark, like so. And now I need appropriate size hole. So this is the drill bit I need. So that should be okay. Bit of glue and that's it. I'll put the finish on and show you final product. This is right after one coat of Danish oil. You can see on the walnut particularly how it popped the grain. Really lovely. This is the Danish oil I have from Slovenia, from Revivo company. Really great stuff. Just to show you now, once there is a full hole in the center and not the half of it, how it loads up much faster. You can see it already falls down, and just give it a little bit of shake, and down it went. Now the finish is still a bit tacky, so that's why the salt is sticking to the bottom. So just once it goes all the way down, I tilt it maybe 90 degrees and give it a few taps, that the salt goes around the funnel and now it doesn't come out. So just clean this up. So as you saw, the filling goes much faster once we have full product, let's say. And just to show you these now a little bit closer, so this is obviously the apple and lovely twig. The twig makes it all the difference in my opinion. And the funnel here. Now I did make a mistake. I haven't seen this before I put the funnel in. You can see I had a few chip outs on the very rim here. Kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Just going to leave it as it is. So that's the apple and the pear or the walnut. Again, now just to show you that these do work, just to show you like so. So when you're moving around it like so, nothing happens apart when you go up and down, and now the salt is coming out, as you can see. Same with this one, nothing happens, and now the salt is coming out. Now this might be a bit too much salt or not, so if you want a little bit, of course, then you just do one shake. So it does get sort of getting used to, but I think if you have these on your table, on your dinner table with your friends or family, they're going to enjoy using this, especially if you maybe make a small basket as well, wooden basket, and have these in. They wonder about where the salt and pepper is, and you have it already there, and they just don't know it. So hopefully you like this project. I made a lot of these. These were usually a gift for customers who ordered more than 4 plates, let's say set of plates or bowls or anything like that. I would usually make this as a gift. So hopefully you like this video, and see you in the next one.